Okay guys, today I want to talk to you about, this isn't really a pet peeve of mine, but maybe it should be. I guess it doesn't happen often enough for me to call this a pet peeve. There's a group of indigenous people that lives in this country called the Ngobe. Their tribe is the Ngobe. And once in a while they get really pissed off, and right now is one of those times. They're really pissed off. The government originally said, okay guys, this is your land. It's called the Commarca. It's like an Indian reservation, we might call it in the United States. And now they have come back and said, well, you guys, you own the land, but that's on top, but you don't own the land that's underneath. We never gave you the land that's underneath. And we want to build a gigantic open pit mine. I don't know if, let's see if I can find a copyright-free photograph of an open pit mine, but they're not very attractive looking. It's just a giant mine. There's one in Utah near where I lived. But yeah, that's what they want to do to the Ngobes. So the Ngobes, to protest, you got to understand what the government is dealing with is a very large group of people who, most of them don't have jobs. They just kind of hang out in the jungle all day. They survive in the jungle. They don't have money. They just grow their own food, and they're really tough people because they survive out in the middle of nowhere. So the government comes along and says, we're going to royally screw over your Commarca. And they say, well, we're going to royally screw up a lot of stuff for you. And they go, there's this point in the road near a town called San Felix. And they set up a blockade with like anything they can get their hands on. Old tires, just different rubble, rocks and dirt. And they just pile it up in the road. And they don't let anything through. The only thing they'll let through is an ambulance. Other than that, nothing. So today, my wife calls me. She said, hey, I just heard from somebody that the gas stations are running out of gas. So go fill up the car. And I had to drive to a couple different gas stations to find one that still had diesel fuel. So the problem, not only is that a problem for David because we can't get supplies from Panama City, but Panama City can't get supplies from this part of the country. Most of the food, like most of the vegetables especially, are grown in this part of the country. And my wife said she heard like on the news that all the grocery stores in Panama City, like they don't have any vegetables because the trucks can't get through. You see pictures of it on the news, and there are just huge lines of trucks that have been there for 4 or 5 days, filled with goods that need to be delivered, but they can't do it. Tourists, we saw pictures of video of tourists on the news last night, and you come on vacation, you save up, you get work off. You probably don't have a whole lot of time off work each year, but you choose to come to Panama, and something like this happens, and there goes your vacation. You spent most of your vacation at a blockade. Really, right now, the only way to travel from Panama City to David is to buy a plane ticket. So if you, say, showed up here and rented a car and tried to travel, you would be royally screwed. So you're asking yourself, well, here's what you're asking yourself right now. Why don't the cops go down there and just start cracking some heads and get them out of there? It's because the Ngobes are like, they don't have anywhere else to go. The government's like, I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're looking at their watch and they're thinking, hey, maybe they'll get bored, or maybe they'll have to go back to work, but they don't have anywhere else to go. It's just they are organized enough to know that they need to hold out long enough. They know that they can hold out longer than the government can hold out, I think is what they know. And if they send the cops down there to start busting heads and shower them with rubber bullets and tear gas, they don't care, man. When the Ngobe women have babies, they squat down in a field and have a baby. They don't go to the hospital and get an epidural and all that other stuff. They give birth out in the jungle. They sleep on the ground. They're just tough people. So they could take it. You know, if the cops come and with their riot gear on, they'll fight back. Because I mean, the cops aren't going to kill them. The cops aren't going to go around and just start shooting people because of a roadblock. That would be like a huge international crisis. So they know that if they can just stay tough enough, they can outlast the government, and they'll say, okay, never mind, we won't build a giant mine on your property and strip your land of every valuable thing that's there. So that's what's going on today, and it's one of those things. Boy, it just got really windy. It's one of those things. It's like, hey, I live in paradise. I live in Panama, but sometimes the only conduit for goods and services through the country gets closed down by a Native American group, and they won't open it up until the government bends to their will. So hope you don't have to go anywhere soon. Hope you don't need to go to Panama City or anything. Hope your wife's birthday isn't coming up and she wanted to go and visit her relatives in Panama City for the weekend. Or hope you're not here on vacation, because that would just screw up a lot of stuff for you. So that's what's going on in Panama City right now. That's another one of those things that probably you don't read about. You know, you're thinking about moving to Panama because it's paradise, and you read all these blogs and stuff about how great it is and all the benefits of moving here. No one is ever going to tell you about once in a while the Ngobes might just shut everything down and you won't be able to get anything or go anywhere, or you might run out of gas, that sort of thing. I kind of sympathize with the Ngobes, but at the same time, it's really annoying to me, you know, because it inconveniences me. But unfortunately for everyone, that's the only way that they can have their voice heard. If they didn't do that, the government would seriously walk all over them. So they're doing what they got to do to protect the place where they live, to protect their homes, and so they're tough people. More power to them.